All right, people, this is Sultan, and I've got with me my favorite atheist, the founder of Atheist Republic, Amin Navabi. Amin, have you heard the news so far?
Yes, I've heard it from Susanna. She messaged me right away. So it's insane. I can't believe this is happening.
We have been warning the West for well over a decade. I personally have been trying to do it for over 5 years. You've probably been 8, 9, 10 years that this is going to happen. And the bleeding heart left never paid any attention, and they doubled down on appeasing the Islamists and Islamism. And as a result, the right wing has been getting strengthened with each passing year. And Geert Wilders has won a landslide victory in general elections of Netherlands. What are your initial thoughts on that? Because obviously we've been
This keeps happening over and over again. I mean, the woke brought Trump into power. The woke made Brexit happen, and now this. And they cry about the right taking more and more power, but they are the ones who are making it happen. We liberals here are suffering from all sides, but it's the woke that is the engine behind all of this happening. When it comes to Islamization of the Western world, when it comes to right-leaning illiberal, again, not to paint all right-leaning with the same brush. There's a lot of liberal right-leaning people. There's a lot of liberal left-leaning people. I'm talking about illiberalism taking over. The enemies of liberalism is Islam, is communism, is Christianity, Judaism, wokeism, far right, all of that. They are all coming for liberal values. But the main force that is making liberalism weaker for all these other enemies to come at her is the enemy from within Western countries, which is wokeism. Is like an infection from within that is making all other threats and attacks on liberalism possible. If you see Islamism taking power, it's because wokeism is making liberalism weaker. If you see more right-leaning parties taking power, more right-leaning politicians taking power, is because wokeism is making liberalism weak. We cannot stand against all these threats unless we clean up our own house. So I don't even know if our priority should be to go after any of these things when we have wokeism from within. We have a new generation of people that don't understand what made their countries great, what made their countries progress so fast. And these people can vote. And these people have a lot of power over what their politicians decide. And if we lose this generation, if we lose Generation Z, we could lose everything. We could lose everything that has made
the West the greatest civilization ever.
And the whole world is enjoying the level of peace and stability and well-being in the past 100 years, and prosperity in the past 100 years. Never imagined in the 10,000 years, more than 10,000 years history of civilization of mankind. We never even imagined getting here. And all the values that got us here, we could lose that in the next generation if they don't understand what got us here. I don't know what to do. We need to reach out somehow to this generation because everything could crumble.
Exactly. And in the wake of these pro-Palestine protests, I've been saying that, okay, this might be a turning point. This might wake up a lot of people. If the politicians don't wake up, then the people will wake up. And these general elections could not have come at a better time for Geert Wilders than now, because the whole of the Western world is like in shock. They have seen how Muslims, moderate or not, they gel together over their political causes. They gel together, and we've seen this enormous turnout of hundreds of thousands of Muslim protesters in favor of Palestine, just spouting out their anti-Semitism in one voice, and people are scared, and people are probably waking up. I can't help but imagine that every single voter who went to vote in these general elections, they would have had those shocking images of those pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas protesters running amok in major Western capitals. They would have been like, whoa, is that what's coming? So let me give you a bit of a rundown on Geert Wilders. So Geert Wilders was a one-man show for nearly 2 decades. He has been campaigning against the rise of Islamism in the West, and he's been very strong against this influx of migrants from Muslim countries. Let me show you just a little snippet of his narrative. Have a listen to this.
Overrepresented enormously in the Dutch crime statistics. More than 60% of the Moroccan youth under the age of 23 has been arrested by the Dutch police. They are in general when it comes to violent street crimes, 20 times more often been arrested on many crimes. But
what he just said is an absolute cold-hearted fact. You can interpret facts differently, that's fine, but this is stating a bare-faced fact. And now this journalist, I'm just assuming, I don't know much about him, but he's being a classical, politically correct, leftist, liberal journalist, and listen to his question, and that is the epitome of what's wrong with the West. This kind of mentality has given rise to this wokeism. So have a listen to this, what he has to say.
If a given society has a problem with members of one particular group, is it wise for a politician to ostracize the whole group?
Well, no, you know,
and he hasn't done it. Look, he hasn't done it. Right now, he's just pointed out that what's wrong. You know, like we have the similar problems in France with Algerian Muslims. In Britain, we have with Bangladeshi and Pakistani Muslims as well. It's a fact. Do whatever you want to do with that fact, but at least highlight it. Once you have identified a problem, then you can do something about it. If the left had owned this problem, then they could have come up with a better solution rather than sweeping the problem under the carpet.
It's wise to tell the truth. I did not invent that people from Morocco are overrepresented in the statistics.
Is that high rate of crime because these people are Moroccan, or is that also because they are unemployed?
I'm not a psychologist or sociologist. I don't care why people...
And that's not his problem. So trying to deviate the problem, trying to sweep the problem under the carpet, this is just a one snippet. And we see the same rhetoric across the Western world. Trump said the same thing about Muslim ban, and that's why he put a Muslim ban. And apparently there was a new MSNBC report where this leaked document from Trump's campaign shows that he's going to implement another Muslim travel ban, whether that's implemented or not, because it might be overthrown by the Supreme Court. But that tells you that how strong that message is and how strongly that resonates with general public, because the public can see this. Public can see that 20, 30 years ago, their neighborhoods were peaceful. But now something's wrong. Something's wrong. You got to at least discuss that. So that's what Geert Wilders has been saying for 20 years. And now The Guardian and the BBC, they've said that he's won a landslide victory, although he may not be able to form a government because he might need a coalition government and no mainstream political party might form an alliance with him. But that story doesn't end here. We saw the same thing, Amin, and I want your opinion on this, because we saw the same thing with the Italian Prime Minister. What's her name? Giorgia Meloni, I believe her name is. She had a very strong anti-Muslim migrant stance as well. In her election campaign, but when she came to power, she couldn't do anything. You know why? Because the European Union have very strict migration policies that you can't go around them. This is the reason why the Conservatives caused Brexit, and this is the reason why Geert Wilders has now said that he would also conduct a referendum where the Dutch would be able to decide whether they want to stay in the European Union or not. So all these classical liberal Western values that made the West the greatest civilization to have ever existed, those values are under threat. If your chosen elected representative can't make an independent immigration policy because of the European Union, of course they're going to say, well, we want to get out of the European Union.
I can't right now verify the stats that he's giving. Okay? I don't know if they're true or not. I would have to go do some research. But here's the thing. I think what matters maybe even more, I know some people might hate me saying that because people care about their safety in the streets and everything, right? Like they could give me examples of people being harmed. I'm like, how dare you say this, Arnie? But because they don't know exactly what I'm talking about. What matters even more than those stats is how what he's saying resonates with people, even if they're not true. Because what the woke, again, I don't want to blame the entirety of the left. I want to just blame the woke part of the left. What they don't understand is that they are not addressing these concerns. The concerns are there. You cannot ignore it away. And you just dismiss these people as fascists and racists and bigots. And that's not going to do anything about it. That's ignoring it is going to make them grow. But the problem is, I don't think they care, because the bigger they become, the more relevant wokeism is going to get. So they don't even mind it growing, because they consider more right-leaning people to be at least mask-off version of us liberals, because they think that we're all the same. They say, cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds. So they see us all the same, but at least they are not pretending and we are being two-faced. That's how they see us. The point is that I don't think a lot of people understand what really is at stake here. We are talking about very, very powerful forces that could be switched like this. We're talking about liberal countries uniting and fighting against illiberal forces in the world. And if there is not unity between these countries, the entire liberal world order that we have right now could collapse. And people don't understand, like, for example, in the United States, there's less than 100,000 people, the vote of less than 100,000 people that decides the election. Because most states, the vote is already given which side is going to go. So it's between 50,000 to 100,000 people that could decide whether the next president is going to be Trump or not, and whether the greatest military on the planet is going to be used to defend Ukraine against Russia or not, how much Israel is going to get supported, what is going to be this world's power reaction to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Imagine the vote of 100,000, less than 100,000 people deciding what a godlike power is going to be used for, whether it's going to be used for maintaining the world liberal order or not. And the more, again, wokeism is such a disease that is giving rise to these other forces that are not woke, but are against what they call globalism. I call this liberal order. Again, this is not a force against nationalism. A lot of people don't understand this. This is a set of agreements and standards and methodology that has made, I know a lot of people don't understand this because they turn on the news and they think everything is going to shit and the world is full of war, but they don't understand that they're living at a time where it's the least likely for you to die a violent death. You have more access to food, you have more access to clean water, you have more access to healthcare than even kings and queens could have imagined for 10,000 years. And you think that's normal, but it's not normal. It's so unique. We haven't had it for that long, and it could go away so fast. And this is why I'm afraid of this guy's rhetoric, because they are anti-EU, they're anti these forces that kept liberal countries together. And again, I blame
The left.
I blame the left.
I was just going to say, can you blame this guy though?
No, because the left is the source of this. This is a reaction. This is a reaction that you would expect.
Yeah.
From
even classical liberals, Amin. I'm so disillusioned by the leftist politicians that if I was a Dutchman, maybe I would have considered voting for him just to help swing the pendulum just a little bit back to the center.
But it doesn't work. It doesn't work long term, because again, what's more at stake is not whether it's the unity between the liberal powers. That's the most important thing. That's more important than all these, like, oh, is he being a bigot? Is that not being a bigot? Oh, is he like using pronouns? That's all of these are just buzz, just the background noise compared to what we could lose. Like if you vote for Brexit, if Trump goes full on protectionist, if this guy comes and has an anti-EU rhetoric, what we are losing is far beyond all of these other small talk.
How would you answer this? That, okay, I mean, as I said, everything that I look at, I haven't read his party's charter, but he's also against supporting Ukraine. So, that's another big no-no for me, because I want the liberal democracies to stick together and help out each other. I would want to go to Taiwan if it is invaded by China. But how would you answer that if we say that, okay, because the left is so deluded right now, we need someone like Geert Wilders or maybe Trump to swing the pendulum just a little bit back to stop this onslaught, train wreck of the left and bring it back to some sanity. Then after that, when they start swinging too far to the right, we'll bring them back again, because then people will think, oh, hang on, this is a bit too much again. Isn't this how it's always worked?
No, it's not a pendulum. They help each other. They're not working against each other. They feed up each other. The more they grow, the more woke grows. They're not going to defeat the woke. They're going to help the woke. That woke helps them. They help the woke.
No, I disagree.
It's not a pendulum. We'll see.
I think I disagree. I think I disagree because I think
Trump was the best thing that happened to wokeism. They became the most relevant they ever been.
Yeah, but Trump is going to come back again. Trump is probably going to come back again. So we know what that means.
Yeah,
what that means.
Because they help each other.
No, but what that means? No, but I mean, what that means is that their number hasn't grown because the people in the middle, they are seeing themselves leaning more and more towards the right than the left because of this outrageous behavior of the far left.
People have to realize, okay, that within liberal narratives, we already have the best tools against wokeism, against all of them. We don't need Christianity against Islam. We don't need Judaism against Islam. We don't need these right-leaning anti-globalist movements against Islam or wokeism. We need liberalism. The solution to all of this is more liberalism.
Yeah, but then some people would argue that more liberalism leads you to wokeism.
No. I want to show you a tweet from Sarah Haider that captures everything that we said. So let me show you, because Susanna sent me this tweet and I think it's a very good way to end this. All right, so this is a tweet. I don't know if you know this account.
Yeah, so it says, this era of Islam is the religion of peace is beyond over. Muslims should not be wasting their time trying to water down our faith so that Westerners are more comfortable with our existence. Completely over this idea of the docile Muslim. So Sarah Heather responded to this tweet. She's young, so she likely hasn't thought much about what might happen when, quote unquote, Westerns, which meant to be Westerners, become less comfortable with Muslims. Exactly. This encapsulates what has just transpired in Netherlands, that when the Westerners become less comfortable with this onslaught of radical Islam and Muslims behaving badly, then they're going to vote for people like Geert Wilders, Georgia Maloney, and so many more people. And I totally agree with you. This is not a new phenomenon. We've been warning the West for so many years. We've literally been saying that. I would even go as far as saying, I know I could be wrong. I think I've said it before, but I think it might be too much to say. I said that, no, I'm not going to say it. I don't have the balls to say it. Actually, no, I'll just say it. I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out.
Thanks for having me, Aris. Guys, make sure that you subscribe to our channel as well, Atheist Republic. I'm doing a lot of streams there. But also make sure you support this channel. There are a lot of bad takes out there. I'm so happy that Harris is out there, because in this sea of insanity, Harris's videos are making a lot of difference. I'm not saying that many good takes on YouTube, but this channel is worth supporting. So if you want to see Harris making more videos, support him on Patreon or any other way that you can. Do it.
Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video today. If you like the channel, of course, like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you want to support me, patreon.com/Harus Sultan. Until next time, ta-da. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/Harus Sultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee.